Look, the unnerving part about having success in any arena in life, the fact that you are one decision away from failure. And that's something that's really helped me on my journey, and especially recently, as being consistent has something that's held me back in life. I think it's because when we're thinking about a big goal or going towards something, we're always thinking about it bigger or further out than it needs to be, rather than just winning the day. The idea that you are one decision away from failing really anything in life. And it is that unnerving thing about success, again, in any area, that kind of keeps you in check of to keep going. Because, doesn't matter how long you've been, consistent for, the truth is that if you don't continuously show up for yourself every day, then, it won't happen. And even furthermore, having a goal that is just not, about you, because when there's other people attached to your goal, you tend to work at your goal in a different fashion. And so my thought of, you're 24 hours away from failure or one decision away from failure is true, because, the moment that you start to slack, and of course there's going to be days that, aren't as productive as all the other days. I mean, I'm having one today, if I'm being fully transparent with you. But the goal is that you don't allow those days to become weeks and those weeks to become months become years. And so if you just keep in the back of your mind, okay, well, I need to show up today. And again, not even just for myself, but the people I support, or whatever your goal is, and whoever is under those, and the supporting roles to the goals, that you are showing up not only for yourself, but for the people who matter in your life. And so the idea of, you being one decision away goes both good and bad, because although you could be one decision away from failure, you could be one decision away from a win as well. And that's why consistency is so powerful. And that's just the whole idea of momentum, because once you gain momentum in something, and you start off, obviously you're going to start off not being good at something, or you start off and you're consistent with it, then you start to build that momentum, and then you start to build this inner confidence that you can do the thing that you want to do. And so when I'm thinking about, okay, the decisions on a daily basis and the decisions I have to make and what I have to do, the number one thing that I start with is I'm going to start today, especially during the new year, and you're switching over a new year, a new month, a new week, and this is used to be me, so I'm not kind of talking down at you, but a lot of us say, okay, I'm going to start tomorrow, or I'm going to start on Monday, right? It's always I'm going to start on Monday. And with that mindset that I'm going to start on Monday means you're just putting off tomorrow what can be done today, and 9 times out of 10 you're not actually going to do it and step into it. And sometimes you need that radical massive action. And if you see the idea of massive action, that is in anyone who's ever really the people who are most successful, they may not even be more talented than you, but they just take more action. They do more stuff at a higher rate. Their word to action is fast, and also their word is bond to themselves. And so if they say they're going to do something, they're actually going to do it. And that's something, again, that builds confidence in yourself. And when you have that confidence, you're able to actually do things, that you weren't previously able to do, because you believe in yourself. And that deep belief in yourself, again, it will just build on each other and just keep going more and more. And the thing about, the decisions of when to do something and not to do something really also boils down to the fact that you need to do it. Honestly, I think starting something new, the best time to do that is when you're in a difficult time in life. And if you think about it, even, and let's say, I'm going to give you an example as far as, selling something, right? Let's say you're selling an information product, a course, or whatever the case is, and someone's like, oh, I'm not going to buy it right now because, it's just a hard time right now. I don't have enough time, and, life is difficult. Then I would say, well, you should do it now. You should step forward right now, because, do you think you're ever going to be busy, or is life going to ever be difficult again in your lifetime, just like when you're living? And the answer is obviously yes. And so to that, you have to realize that, no matter no matter when you start something, life is, you can't control everything in life. You can control how you act to the things that happen to you, but you can't control everything that comes your way. And so when you are faced with doing something that will better you or move you forward, and you're not doing it because life is difficult right now, then you're never going to do it. And if anything, like I was saying a moment ago, doing it when it's difficult means when things are less difficult and you have more time and, life isn't, a windstorm, then it'll be even easier. And so, that really does build this, this fortress around your mind when you step to do things that you don't want to, or when it's hard, but you just keep going and you're not allowing your mind to take over something that you can do today. And so that's something that really helps me, when I'm thinking of, okay, I'm going to start tomorrow, or, a decision that I know I need to make today, is that I'm just like, all right, I'm going to do it now, because in this difficult time, I feel like I talk about cold showers and cold plunges and stuff a lot, but it's true. If you ever taken a cold shower, and again, today was one of those days for me where I did not want to do it. Like everything in my body, I didn't want to do it, but I made a commitment to myself. And the main reason I do that is to continue to be faced with difficult things. And the truth is, obviously life is not easy for everyone. I think, life is not 100% easy for me, but I live a pretty good life. And so I know for me, I need to force myself to do, difficult and challenging things, because if not, I'm going to become soft. And I just don't want to be soft, and I want to have, mental fortitude and be strong in my mind. And so, when I'm faced with difficult things, and I choose difficult things, it allows me to, again, not be able to like put off stuff that I can do today, because then my decisions it's like a fortress behind my decisions, because I'm like, okay, I know that I can do this difficult task, this difficult achievement or goal that I have, because honestly, it makes it easier because I choose to do hard things, and then it kind of builds on each other. And really the last thing of the idea of deciding and really going forward is keeping score. So you have to keep score. Not have to, actually, you don't have to do anything really, anything that I say. I'm just a guy with a camera, but the idea of keeping score is super important, because when you are progressing in life and anything, think about it as like the gym. Let's say you're used to benching 100 pounds, but then you're not tracking that along the way, then you can't really see, because maybe you start off only being able to bench press 50 pounds, whatever, just use small numbers just for the sake of the example, but 50, but now you can do 100. But at a certain point, you had to stair step your way all the way up to the 100. You just didn't pop out one day and just start doing 100. You stair step your way into it, and you kept the score. Really, and the last thing in the formula of understanding, that you're one decision away from failure, is keeping the score. And this is very important, both good and bad. So on the good side, that, if you have been progressing in something positive, you can look back and say, oh, this is where I started and this is where I am now. And on the bad side, if you haven't been progressing, you can look back and say, oh, this is why. And I really do think, asking, especially when it's coming to understanding how your feelings and your emotions is why am I feeling like this, right? Because once you can answer the question why, then you can see where the thought or the feeling is coming from, and that'll allow you to really move forward and start to have success. And so a lot of the times, when we're not keeping score, we don't understand why we even got success in something before. I know that's happened to me before, when I was like, okay, like let's say I'm working out and I'm like, oh man, I can't even remember like the weights that I was worked up to get here. And I wish I would have recorded that, or written it down, or whatever the case is, because then I have a mental note of, oh, it took this to get there. And because as success is always a trade-off of either something greater or something lesser. So for instance, I wake up every morning early in the morning to go to work out, let's say, and then my trade-off is not getting that extra hour of sleep. And so it's good to know and keep the score to see where you've come from, because you'll see the trade-offs, and again, it'll just make it easier to win over and over again.